proving to be beneficial, and on the running edge of a development of outreach into engagement. I became aware of this through my membership of the Kellogg Commission on the future of land-grant institutions, because the land grant is often thought of as the origins of this connectivity between university and society, between innovation and application, obviously hybrid crops and farmers. And what this Kellogg review was about, it's changing what used to be traditional outreach or extension. And I was really quite pleased to recognize that what we were just doing was the moving edge, that what was being described by the Kellogg Commission as the virtue of the, quote, new extension, the new outreach, engagement, we were in fact trying to practice. The big problem, of course, was how to interdigitate that development with undergraduate curriculum with for-credit activity. And that still remains one of the how to mainstream as distinct from it being a supplement to what currently goes on. And I think that's what's beginning to happen, a rich debate about that connection. It cannot be off there, it cannot be a moon, it cannot be a sort of satellite. In some ways, all students need to encounter some aspect of engagement, and some engagement needs to bear the legitimacy of credits. This is hard to do, but I think that's where we have to go. Finally, the other big change, I think, which makes the Wisconsin idea perhaps a little obsolete, is that at the time, the Wisconsin idea of the boundaries of the university being the boundaries of the state is no longer big enough for us. And so we assume that the metaphor has been scaled up, that the boundaries of the nation, or I think that we are a global institution. And so what used to be done at a small scale in a very immediate way is now done globally. And I think we can accept that the Wisconsin idea really is no longer narrowly serving Wisconsin. The Wisconsin idea is embedded now in a global reach, not just in a Wisconsin reach. And I'm delighted to hear of so many ways in which our engagement now is globalized, and the connectivity with international studies and a variety of international projects, very dear to my heart, are now part of that. And so what has now emerged, I think, is something that perhaps is on the cusp of establishing itself at a different scale, at a global scale, as carrying engagement as a form of education that is more integrated into the activity of the learning process. We all now know that sitting in a room listening to a lecture is not necessarily the best way to learn anymore. It is out of the dialogue, having obtained the material in some personal, direct way, either from a computer or iPad or whatever. We keep hearing that that's the best way to learn. Well, engagement is always that way. There has always been this sense of a multilateral engagement that is as much as important to the developing brain as it is to the activity which creates the outcome. So I am delighted to say that in the last 15 years, this center and this university has probably paralleled the development of engagement from the redefinition of outreach to engagement as part and parcel of the early 90s, creating a space in which people can take advantage of the opportunities for engagement, and that now we're in our 15th year, we're probably at the moment where we in fact may have something that we can mainstream back into instruction, that engagement may be a metaphor for a creative form of instruction, that we've raised the scale from a state to global. And finally, I think that the idea of teamwork or group work, which in some ways universities are not very good at. We're actually very cellular, very individualistic in how we put ourselves together. And in some ways, some of our breakthroughs in research and in teaching are when it becomes team-like, group-like. Engagement has always been that way. And so, in a sense, we may be on the cusp of a mainstreaming of an idea which many people think narrowly as simply the university being practical and utilitarian and having an effect on the world economically or socially around them. But it is equally important pedagogically because it is, in so many respects, the core of the educational experience itself. That is the end of the sermon. Thanks very much.